I was born in Brooklyn, in Escalade. I left when I was 5 years old. My father, who was a milk inspector for the city of New York, disliked the city. And he was one of the few people in the family to go to college in the 20s. He went for 2 years to Farmingdale, and as a result, that qualified him to become a civil servant. Now, to become a civil servant in the 30s was considered a privilege, a plum of a job, because you had a constant income. This is when jobs were really hard to come by. And his district initially was New York City, and you wouldn't believe it, but a milk inspector in those days actually was authorized to carry a gun. And the reason is that these dairies or producers of milk would water down the tankers that came in with the milk because they would make a few extra bucks by increasing the milk supply. Well, anyway, he decided to take his family to a small town of 200 families in Pennsylvania on the Susquehanna River called Winfield. And the only schooling was a one-room schoolhouse. So from 36 to 40, somewhere around there, 41 rather, I went to this one-room schoolhouse, which was like Tom Brown's school days rather. He went to school in the wintertime sometimes with the milkman on a sled, with horse-drawn sled. It was a stove-heated room, and the ashes made a pile outside, and that became the playground, running up and playing King of the Hill. I remember, with an outhouse, by the way. This didn't even have a flush toilet. It was perfectly normal. This was life. And life all through the 30s, which was the Depression, it seemed fine. We had enough food on the table. We lived in a house. From there, we moved to Middletown, a little blue-collar town about 100 miles from New York City. And went to high school, junior high school and high school. You didn't know, you weren't poor, but you weren't rich. You weren't well off by today's standards. You just didn't know that you were deprived of anything. This was life, and this was fun. I mean, you played sandlot ball, you hide and seek, you celebrated the holidays like Halloween, and that was life. It was fun.